It's time to put your health in your own hands. Get ready to learn from today's top health and wellness innovators and thought leaders on Optimal Health Radio. Now, here's your host.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, John Suzuki. John has successfully consulted for many top medical devices, biotechnology, and pharmaceutical companies in various scientific and technical roles. Due to his own health challenges, John became aware that higher consciousness can have a more profound effect on healing the human body than conventional allopathic medicine. His search to elevate his consciousness led him to Guruji Mahendra Kumar Trivedi and the Trivedi Effect in 2010. After receiving Guruji Trivedi's remote energy transmissions, John's life transformed on all levels, including enhanced physical health. Through John's association with Guruji Trivedi, he discovered and developed his own natural ability to harness and transmit healing energy known as the biofield energy treatments. His holistic healing power has been validated by scientific research using international cell-based and animal models. The results that have been published in peer-reviewed scientific journals suggest that John's biofield energy treatments can improve human health and the quality of life. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Tammy, for the introduction.
So, John, tell me a little bit more about the Trivedi Effect and what it is.
The Trivedi Effect is a way to connect yourself to a higher power, and it allows you to basically improve any talents that you have, and basically also to have yourself to reorganize and to continue with what you want to do in your life. In other words, it gives you the greatest opportunity to meet your true potential and to help yourself do whatever you want to do, whatever your life purpose is in this world.
So a lot of people who are connected to the Trivedi Effect find that it helps them find their purpose of life and higher potential. For you personally, can you tell me a little bit more about your journey and how you came to find the Trivedi Effect?
Yes. I, like many other people who are in the healing arts, one of the reasons that I was attracted to the Trivedi Effect is I had a number of health issues myself over the years. And early on, I realized that one of the ways, or probably the only way to help myself heal, was I had to raise my consciousness. And raising your consciousness is probably one of the few ways that you can improve and heal your own body. So that put me on a journey trying to find different modalities or individuals who could help me raise my consciousness. And through that journey, I discovered Guruji Mahendra Trivedi and the Trivedi Effect. And I can tell you from my own experience with this journey, there are very few, if any, technologies or people that can help you do that. So one of the reasons why I was attracted and was very interested in what he was doing was because he's focusing a lot of energy and effort on improving your consciousness.
So when you talk about the higher consciousness, because you mentioned that because you had health issues and you felt that did you feel a disconnect to the God of your understanding or the divine? When you say, can you explain a little bit more about what you mean by your consciousness levels being connected to your health?
Yes. I believe that my personal opinion is, in order for you to fully comprehend what's going around you and in the universe, you have to be connected to nature and also to a spiritual component. And with any type of healing, there's obviously physical, emotional, psychological, but there are also spiritual components. And it's the spiritual component that you really need to work on when you're having trouble healing or you're having issues with chronic illness. That's what I found in my own personal journey.
So, with your personal journey, you experienced different health issues, and was there some turning point for you when you tried all of the traditional medicine, and what made you have that realization that it was that consciousness that was going to make the difference for you?
Well, the challenge, I think, with healing in general is most people try to come at it from a purely physical perspective. And most of the treatments and modalities that are offered to individuals for healing tend to be all physical. So, for instance, you could buy a device, you could take a supplement, you could try a food, you could change your diet. But that's very, very different than connecting to a higher spiritual power and trying to correct the underlying blueprint that you have that's originally been given to you by the divine.
So, what were some of the modalities that you tried before you met Guruji Trivedi and experienced the Trivedi effect?
I've done a number of different modalities. I think most people have tried these. I've tried supplementation. I've tried changing my diet. I've done meditation. I've done yoga. I've done using a number of devices that are supposed to transmit energy. So, I've tried a number of different modalities. I think by themselves, they can offer some benefit for some people, but when you have a complex illness or a chronic illness, it requires a different focus and a different direction in order to heal.
So when you met Guruji Trivedi, that was in 2010. What happened that made you convinced that what he had to offer was real and that it was something that would help you?
I think there are a couple of things that was important to me when I first experienced the Trivedi effect and had a chance to listen to Guruji speak. In fact, my first introduction to him was on a web conference call where he spoke, and then he offered a remote energy transmission. So what I noticed is that I realized that any changes that I would have to undergo would require obviously more than just one transmission to feel anything. And one of the reasons I believe that is that I needed to change my underlying blueprint of my body. And I realized that there are no quick fixes and that I would have to probably experience the energy for a longer period of time if I wanted to really experience some of these changes.
You mentioned the blueprint a couple times. In what way does the Trivedi effect help to restore that energy blueprint or that spiritual blueprint or the mind, body, soul connection blueprint? How does it do that?
Well, this is my own personal experience. The way I understand it is that for whatever reason, through either our stress, living style, not being connected to the divine, we lose this, what I call our fundamental blueprint, this organization, this structure, whatever you want to call it, in the body. It becomes corrupted. And it's only through this, special energy called the Trivedi effect that you can basically reprogram or reconstitute this blueprint, which is so essential for living and for, staying healthy. So that's the way I understand it. And it's fundamental, to our own nature. And it's at that level that the Trivedi effect is working and, making changes to you. So I knew that it would take a while, to reorganize or to re-imprint this blueprint. It wasn't going to happen overnight. So I was committed, just like in many of the other modalities I've used in healing, that it's going to take longer than, 1 or 2 sessions or even a week or even a month to experience these changes. And that's my experience as well.
I understand that I've heard Mr. Trivedi speak, and he basically says that this is life force energy transmission, and that you're connected or being connected to the creator, the life force, the God of your understanding, and that there are no modalities in the sense of there's no special things that you need to do to receive this energy. No symbols, like for example, Reiki, they have some kind of symbols that they do with it. Yoga, you do yoga poses, different exercises, you move your body in a certain way. So over time, you experienced better health. And what other benefits have you experienced as a result of these energy blessings?
I think the most important changes that I saw were very subtle in the beginning, and it had to do with things such as being more calm, improved confidence, being able to think more clearly. These are all, small benefits I saw early on that I have not seen with doing several other different modalities. So those were probably the most unusual in terms of what I saw. And obviously, if you're in pain, you see a reduction in pain. If if you have a lack of mobility, you'll see an improvement in mobility. Those are all physical things, and that will come with time. But I think some of these other factors, the alertness, the awareness, the ability to be more conscious about any particular situation has been really remarkable for me, and both in terms of my own personal life and also my professional life in terms of when I'm working with individuals or clients.
So these small improvements and changes happened over a period of time for you. So have you, and I know that you were very interested in raising your consciousness, and do you feel that you are more conscious? And if you can explain that a little bit, because I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, because for me, a lot of the things that we face in life that I found the Trivedi effect helpful for was, like, for example, I was stressed out at work, and I just needed to, get a little less stressed. And like you said, you do have a feeling after receiving energy transmissions of a calmness, of being able to think more clearly, to process information clearly. And for me, raising my consciousness was not even, I was not at that level. Let's just put it that way. I was more at, hey, I just have to get through my life, because I was stressed out. So when you talk about raising your consciousness, what exactly, again, this is your opinion and what you feel it is, what does that mean? I'm just trying to get a better picture so that the listeners who maybe be at a higher level than I am can really grasp it, or people that are, on their way of not only understanding this divine connection, but what is this raising of your consciousness? What is that all about?
Well, for me, I think one of the working definitions that I like to think about And it may not be the most complete, but it's the connectedness that I feel around everything around me, essentially in the universe. So that can include nature. That could be also include, this connection to the divine as well, because this is all part of this consciousness. And for me, both in personal and also in business, it helps tremendously to have higher consciousness and to feel this connection, with a client, with an individual, with even your personal life, with the family members, relatives, spouse, whoever it is, friends. So that's what I look at in terms of consciousness.
Being more connected.
Right. And that can be everything from, being more attentive to someone who needs, more physical attention. It could be acknowledging people that you work with. It's to be more thankful, to be more grateful under any condition that you need to. Having this connectedness and understanding what it is you need to do to be more efficient, to be more effective, to have better outcomes at work. That's, I believe, is part of this issue of being connected and then having a higher consciousness.
So for you then, you're in work with people, a lot of professional people, and so with the Trivedi effect, how would you say that professional people, would benefit from the energy blessings or the biofield energy blessings or life force energy transmissions, however you might want to describe them? How would you say a professional or a business person might benefit?
I think one of the benefits of the Trivedi effect is that the application is so broad and universal, no matter where you are coming from and what your purpose in life is, you can benefit from the energy that's associated with the Trivedi effect. For example, if your goal is to improve relationships with people that are close to you, this energy can do that. If your goal is to improve your business, let's say you're a small business person or even a president or CEO of a business, you can use this energy to do the same thing. So there are people who've reported improvements in, for instance, in areas of sales, retaining more clients, having better outcomes, in terms of what you're doing as a business, in terms of business projections, marketing, etc. So, anybody can benefit from this energy and from the Trivedi effect.
And why is that? I understand. So it's the divine energy. So why is it that it's good for anything living, non-living things, animals, humans, plants, minerals? Why is that?
Well, I think the number one reason is because this energy is a fundamental energy of the universe. So it's present everywhere. And, Gurdjieff has basically acted as a conduit, as a way to focus this energy to individuals and both animate and inanimate objects. So that's why it's so beneficial and it has such a wide application. I mean, you can use it anywhere and under any circumstance because the energy is, essentially present everywhere.
So it essentially is the energy of the creator, the authority of all things, the God of your understanding. It's that divine connection. So you have worked quite a long time now with Guruji Trivedi, and you've also participated in science experiments, and your ability to transmit this energy has been scientifically validated also. Is that correct?
That is correct. I've participated in a number of experiments that show that the energy can be used to transform things both in the cell model and the animal model. So the results are really tremendous, because I have a background in science. Just, looking at the results of what can be done with this energy is just, it's astounding. I mean, a typical scientist or someone who's doing research, if they looked at these results, they would be just totally flabbergasted that, individuals and people can actually do this. It's really unheard of. And I think that's what makes this Trivedi effect so interesting. And also, from a standpoint of outcomes and results, I mean, the scientific validated data speaks for itself. I mean, it's just really unusual that this energy can do this at such a fundamental level.
Wow. I'm actually looking at your website now, and you have some quite interesting testimonials there. And I highly recommend that everybody go take a look and read those testimonials. So you work with people either in person or online or remotely. If somebody works with you remotely, is there any difference in the value or the results of what you get from life force energy transmissions, if it's in person or remotely?
No, the results have been demonstrated to be the same. And one of the things that Gurji has pointed out to us, because when we were participating, with him with these life force energy transmissions with the Trivedi effect over time, many people would have the same question. How can I be assured, or how do I know that a remote transmission is just as powerful as an in-person transmission? And Gurji has basically talked to us a number of times, and it's been, publicized also on the Trivedi Effect website that the remote energy transmissions are just as powerful as the in-person transmissions.
Well, that's really good to know. So you work with people. Where can they find out more about how to work with you?
Well, the first place to go to is my website, johnksuzuki.com, and you can contact me there if you want to participate in energy transmissions, or if you would like more additional information, you can contact me there as well.
Okay, great. And I also see that you've got some really good, interesting blog posts, and the media has been picking up on your scientific research. I see that there's been quite a bit of media about you. So, John, before I let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to tell our audience today?
Yes. I would like to mention that for anyone who has any particular issue, whether it be physical, a health problem, or if you would like better capacity in your own personal life, I recommend that you try the Trivedi effect and see what results it can give you, and also find out if it can help you move to a better position in your life where you meet the goals and the purpose of what you're trying to do in your own lifetime.
Sounds like a fair request. So everyone, if you want to find out more about John Suzuki, go to his website, johnksuzuki.com, and that's SUZUKI.com. And you can find out more. And I think John's absolutely right. It's one of those things that you just don't know until you've actually experienced it for yourself. And I think that's really a good thing to do, because every person's experience is going to be uniquely their own. But I do know, once think about it, you're connected to the divine, and you're going to get this positive results in your life, because if you believe in your higher power, God is love, and love is that high, powerful, creative energy. So, John, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll invite you back another time to have another interesting conversation. We'll dig a little deeper into some more about you and the Trivedi effect.
Thank you, Tammy, for having me.
Everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to today's top health and wellness innovators and thought leaders on Optimal Health Radio. To get more solid health and wellness information, visit optimalhealthradio.com.